Hello, my name is Will Lowry. I am welcoming you to the town of Little Bird. I decided to name this town after our little foster son that we have right now. His name is Sparrow, so I figured it'd be fitting to have a town named after him. This town is approximately 8,000 to 10,000 uh, in population. It's a 3 square mile town, so we're looking at about 2.6 to or 2,500 people per mile. And I wanted to kind of keep it small but somewhat large. I live in Winterville, North Carolina, and our population is around 10 to 12,000 people with I think it's a 4 to 5 square mile town limits or town size. So we're looking, 1.5 by 1.5 square miles. Um, Maybe not as accurate because this isn't a truly square town. This is a 18 by 24 size document. So my scale is a 1 inch equals 600 feet. Just because it is a larger document, I wanted to kind of symbolize the scale to go with it. The climate of this town, like I said, I live in Winterville, so it's very sim. I would like it to be very similar to where I am now. So obviously humid. I hate to say it, but humid, dry, kind of a mixture of everything. Rainy, very limited snow, if anything, if we do get some. Um, and then, so now I'll just go into the land uses and how I laid it out. This town is off of a highway system. Like I said, very similar to where I live now in Winterville. We are off of NC 11, so it is not quite a part of the highway system, but it is off the highway system. So I do have a mixture of like commercial and mixed use along the highway to allow if anybody wants to visit the town or just partake in the commercial off the road. The dark green you're going to have is primarily conservation areas. I am kind of heavy on conservation and environmental focus. So I wanted to implement a lot of conservation to protect some land around the town, and also the reason of implementing game lands. I am also an avid hunter, so having game lands to protect the wildlife, and I'll still allow the citizens to utilize it as a recreational purpose, but also knowing it's protected is one of the reasons why I put this in here. Your lighter greens are going to be recreation and entertainment. So like soccer fields or parks, like this little tiny bit of green right here could be an internal park. Um, and then to allow just for entertainment purposes or like recreational purposes. Um, this yellow area here and then this yellow area here is the single family area. A little bit of single family over here as well. That's where I think primarily the families will live. People that want to live in single family homes, stuff like that. Primarily thinking medium density, not a lot of low density, just because it is a smaller town, so the homes are going to be kind of right on top of each other. So maybe like 6 to 8,000 square foot lot sizes. This orangish right here and kind of the orange mixture around here is going to be our mixed use residential, because right here is going to how I symbolized it's downtown or center of the city. That's why there's some downtown commercial here. So that's why I have mixed use kind of all around it. And then obviously mixed use off the highways, and then mixed use over here into the entrance of the commercial area. Right here in this goldish color is the apartments, for people that can't necessarily afford single family homes or just they don't want to live in a single family home. They prefer apartments or townhomes. So this will be your 2, 3, 4 story apartments or attached townhomes, similar like that. Obviously around a lot of the main commercial for the town, the office space for the town. That's this deep purple here. Um, and then you got office and commercial over here, right next to mixed use and apartments. This little gray, darkish gray here and here, that's what I have as education. So you can have your high school, middle school here, or middle school, high school here, however you would describe it. And then the silver would be the government entity of the town. So the town public works, or the planning office, town hall. I have that right here to be right across the street from the school system, because most likely those would be the ones taking care of the school system. And then vice versa, have some utility right next to it. So maybe it's the electrical grid or the Public Works Department, something like that, um, to be very close. And then obviously some utility over here, which could be like the water treatment plant, sewer treatment plant, stuff like that. Over here, I have light industrial right near the wetlands and the river, just to help around not have a lot of homes near the flooding areas. I chose light industrial just to keep it easy for the town, nothing too heavy, but you could very well easily put heavy industrial over here, to allow for certain uses. So, like the zoning ordinance for this town would have to require certain ones, just wouldn't be allowed at all. Or if they have to make it basically restrict it pretty heavily. These three front patches here are supposed to be conservation, just to have a separation from the highway system, from the town itself. These brown strips along the roads, as noted in the legend, is for path and sidewalk. So I wanted kind of a walkable town, so make it so people can walk around the town if they need to get places or just enjoy walking around the town. I do have a roundabout system and like four-way stop systems throughout the town. No stoplights, just to keep the traffic moving. I don't expect it to be a very heavily trafficked area. The main traffic is going to be off the highway system here. I do realize as recording this that I failed to recolor my medical, but the medical was going to be in this area right around here, primarily like maybe right here or off this area right here, to allow for a small rural healthcare system or major hospital, if anything, off the highway. So that's pretty much how I laid out the town. Myself, if I had to look at where I would live in this town, I'd pick the single family residential area over here. Hopefully, right along the line where the neighborhood backs up to the game lands, just to have a protected area behind me, just so I can have, just if anything, watch wildlife and stuff like that. So that is my layout. I hope it looks good, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.